topic of not new topic, so you can say same topic, respiratory disease, but another diseases, that is the occupational lung diseases, and some related to terminology which is used in this respiratory disorders. Okay, so first of all, we are going to discuss about the occupational lung diseases. So here they have given the, this is a group of lung disease. It's caused by inhaling of atmospheric pollutants at workplace to cause diseases. It means people, they are doing a particular industry which is related to the dust, means related to the silicon, related to the asbestos. These industry peoples, they are doing, so they will suffer such type of the disease, that is called occupational disease. And the particle must be small, must be so small. You have to already studied the SPMs, suspended particulate matter, in case of the environmental biology. So SPM, so these you can say their size like SPMs, suspended particulate matter. So this is the small, must be small, and that they are carried in inspired air, means during the inspiration it can enter through the air inside your alveoli. So it can enter inside your alveoli, so of the levels, and reach into the, it enters through the inspired through the airs and the level of the respiratory bronchioles and alveoli, means it can reach up to the alveoli, where they can only be cleared by the phagocytosis. No another method to remove this SPM, suspended particulate matter, or simply you can say these dust particles. Okay, these can be removed with the help of phagocytosis. That means cell will engulf that particulate matter and after die. So that is the phagocytosis. Another, so when these particles are the large particles, what will happen? These large particles get trapped by the mucus secreted from mucus cells. They trapped by the mucus and upper part of the respiratory tract. So it means you can say upper part of the respiratory tract and expelled by the ciliary action. So they generally removed by the ciliary action outside the body. Clear? So through phenomenon, we can remove this large particle and small dust-sized particle, means suspended particular matter. They can reach through the inspired air inside the alveoli, and it can be cleared only by the phagocytosis. But large particles, they can also removed by the because when mucus secretes, they get trapped, and after the coughing, so with the help of ciliary action as well as coughing phenomenon, so it can be removed outside the body. So they have given. Okay, so now next what it have given here, next first disease, and this is known as the asbestosis. Okay, so first it have given the asbestosis is caused by inhaling. I had already told occupational lung diseases. So these occupational lung diseases is two different types. One is the asbestosis, silicosis. This is the major two diseases, and there is also two different types: pneumoconiosis and byssinosis. Okay, so byssinosis related to the cotton industry, and pneumoconiosis related to the coal industry. Okay, but two are the major: asbestosis and silicosis. These are the two major types of the occupational diseases. So asbestosis is caused by inhaling of asbestos fibers. Okay, and usually develops after the 10-20 year exposure. It is saying usually develops, but sometime after it can develop within 2 years. Okay, and asbestos miners and workers involved in the making and using some products containing asbestos at risk. Okay, means they are doing the work in asbestos industry, so this will release outside the through the dust particles, and that means they can enter inside their body. And there are different types of the asbestos. So there is the large number of, means 2 to 3 different types of the asbestos, in which blue asbestosis is related to the with most serious disease. So blue asbestos is the most serious disease. This figure showing how the asbestos particles enter inside the lungs as well as heart or abdomen, another body parts. Basically asbestos enter into the lungs and they cause the different types of the cancer. So this figure explaining. So now here we will see next is the silicosis. and silicosis also considered as a occupational lung disease. So this may be caused by the long-term exposure. So we have to see, like in case of the asbestosis, there is also 10 to 20 is usual, but sometimes asbestosis can cause within the 2 years. So here exposed to dust containing silicon, and silicon means simply you can say sand. Silica means sand. So silicon compounds high risk industry are quarrying, are granite, slate, sandstone mining, blasting, and glass and pottery work. So these are this terminology related to the silicon industry related, means that is granite. This is the types of stone, slating and sandstone mining, blasting, glass and pottery work. So these people generally suffer from such type of diseases, silicosis. Inhaled silica sand particles accumulate in the alveoli, and when it accumulate in the alveoli, these particles are ingested by the macrophages and are actively toxic to these cells. Okay, so when ingested by the macrophage, so for the macrophage it will become toxic. Okay, and the inflammatory reaction is triggers when the macrophages destroy the particles, and this reaction significant fibrosis. Means when these silica particles enter inside the cell, suppose that I am explaining here with the help of figure, you can easily understand, but before this I am going to change the color. So this is the cells. Okay, now cells, this is the alveoli cells, or you can say any dust particles is, and here this is the silica particle. So silica particles, this is the blue in color. This is the silica particle. Now this silica particle enter inside the alveoli. When it will enter inside the alveoli, so what will happen? Now this macrophage, the alveoli cells also have the macrophage. So wait, I will change the color. So here you can see this is the another type of the macrophage. This is the macrophage. Now this macrophage try to engulf them. Okay, so these macrophage engulf them. Now what happens? So macrophage engulf this silica particle, and when these engulf silica particles, so silica particles will never destroy by the macrophage, and macrophage cells, macrophage not micro, macrophage cells get infected with this silica. Okay, and this become the fibrosis. So this is the case of the silicosis. Okay, now in case of the silicosis, what happened? So silicosis appears to the predisposed. Predisposed means that is, you can say they giving the simple they giving the not simple symbol, they giving the symbol to the predisposed to the development of the tuberculosis, means they give the symbol to the tuberculosis, which rapidly progress to the tubercular bronchopneumonia, which is also known as the tuber bronchopneumonia. Tubercular means that is the smaller type of the tuber, or small type of tuber or lump, that is called tubercular bronchopneumonia, and possibly military TB. This, and they also cause the military TB, a form of varying severity in which minor tubercles. Okay, in which minor tubercles, that means you can say a small tuber or lump form, and different organs due to the dissemination of the bacilli through the body by the bloodstream. So in the bloodstream, so these bacilli bacteria enters and they cause the tubercular, smaller tubercular. So such thing also called the military TB. Means silicosis also responsible for causing the military TB as well as tubercular bronchopneumonia. Gradual destruction of the lung tissue leads to the progressive reduction in the pulmonary function. Gradual destruction of lung tissue, because when they insert silica, so I had already told fibrosis, macrophage cells get destroyed. In case of the silicosis, so these silica molecules get deposited into the lungs. So reduction in the pulmonary function, and they cause the pulmonary hypertension, and ultimately it causes the heart failure. Okay, ultimately it causes the heart failure. And then there is also different types of the occupational disease. I had already told pneumoconiosis, they are related to the coal workers or coal industry, and byssinosis, they are related to the cotton industry. So this is also called the occupational lung diseases. Now some terminology they have given related to the respiration, and these things they have given. First is the sneezing. Sneezing you know very well. So sneezing, that is the spasmodic. Spasmodic means rapid contraction of the muscles expiration forcefully expires air through the nose and mouth. So this is sneezing, you know very well. So when you will remove the forcefully performing the expels air forcefully, this is called the sneezing. And another is the yawning, a prolonged inspiration through widely opened, means you have to see in some people they have had much food uh, during the afternoon period. They have the much food, after that they will open very big mouth, so that means they showing the yawning. They are doing the yawning phenomenon. So they have a prolonged inspiration through widely opened mouth, okay, producing an exaggerated depression of the lower jaw. Okay, so there is the exaggerated depression of the lower jaw. Another is the hiccup, that is the spasmodic contraction of the diaphragm. So hiccup generally in Hindi you can say hp. So hiccup, that is the spasmodic contraction of the diaphragm followed by a spasmodic closure of the glottis produce a sharp inspiratory sound. Okay, this produces a sharp inspiratory sound because at that time rapid contraction of the diaphragm as well as closure of the glottis. So rapid contraction of the diaphragm and rapid closure of the glottis produce a sharp inspiratory sound. Another is the snoring, you know, also during the sleeping you have to listen the voice. Some people they during the sleep they generally produce some sound, that is called snoring. Okay, it is a rough rattling inspiratory noise produced vibration of ovula. Okay, so produce vibration of the uvula. This is the mouth. This is found in the mouth, and this uvula or sometimes of the vocal cord. So sometimes uvula play important roles, or sometimes vocal cords during the sleep they generally produce the voice. This is called snoring, and Hindi you can say this is known as the kharrata. So some people say during the sleeping time. So during the sleeping time they generally create the noise or voice. So this is generally called the Mm, you can say this is generally called uh, snoring. This is called the snoring. Okay. Now next, what we'll have given. So here you can see. Uh, Okay, so SARS, this is the very important disease because this is the corona times, and SARS also related to the corona because severe acute respiratory syndrome. So they are also related to the corona. So here you can see SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome. It is caused by the human coronavirus. Okay, so this is the time of corona is going on. So people's through the this is the pandemic and epidemic and sporadic and endemic. So there is the different terms they have given. I think you know very well. I will this also discuss this terminology in the biodiversity and conservation or human health and disease, that chapter I will discuss later. But corona is the pandemic disease. Pandemic means throughout the globe distributed. Okay, so caused by the human coronavirus, that is the mutant form of influenza. This is the mutant form of influenza virus. Okay, and the first infected person reported in the China February 2026 2008. So 26 February 2008. So first person infected from this human coronavirus. First infected person in India was Persil Verde of the Goa. So he also infected from this human coronavirus. Symptoms: cold, dry cough, headache, loss of appetite, fever, hypoxia, muscular stiffness. So these have been diagnosis can be performed by the ELISA test. ELISA, that is, this is enzyme, they are depends on the antibody antigen based reaction. ELISA kit based on the antigen antibody reaction, and ELISA you have already studied in the detection of HIV is also used ELISA test. Okay, enzyme linked immunosorbentase, this is the basic principle. Radio immunoassay, that is also called RIA. Mode of the transmission, there is the HCV spread through the contact, respiratory secretion, and cockroach also play important role to this infection. That means a spreading method, or that means dispersion or spreading method. So some students are some students was asking about me, so whether vaccine will develop about the corona or not. So vaccine, I'm just going to reply. So simply vaccine will not develop about the corona, because corona is the virus, and this virus have the genetic material is the RNA. And you have already studied the principle of inheritance and variation and molecular basis of inheritance in that chapter. So DNA is the genetic material. Our cells also have the genetic material DNA. Every cells have the genetic material DNA, but some cells also have the RNA as a genetic material. And we know very well about the difference between RNA and DNA. So DNA is the stable genetic material and RNA is the unstable genetic material. So it means you can say, and these corona, they have the single stranded RNA molecules. They have the single stranded RNA molecules. And if you have to design, because vaccine based on the memory cells, if you have prepared the cells, so after that what will happen, they can change their morphology. They can change their morphology because mutation is rapid going on inside their genome. So they will change their protein, and when they change their protein, so your memory cells cannot recognize them and cannot able to kill. Okay, so due to this every scientist, they cannot prepare the proper vaccine. They are just telling, I have developed a vaccine, so every country, but actual, because you know very well, so hiv also not prepared, and a common cold vaccine not prepared. So how I can expect they are able to prepare this corona vaccine? Okay, because every virus which have the genetic material, every virus or bacteria, anything, but bacteria not have. We have not seen the bacteria genetic material RNA, but virus mostly they have the genetic material RNA. So these genetic material RNA is the less stable. So due to this, continuous mutation takes place and it can change their shape. So our memory cells, they cannot proper work. So it means simply you can say vaccine cannot be developed about the corona. So for the corona, this pandemic disease. So vaccine, any scientist or any country, they can't develop, because you have to see about the HIV. So they generally use the azithromycin, which is not a proper vaccine. This is the drugs which is used for the treatment. This is used for the treatment. Means they can stop for certain times. They can delay. They can delay the activity, but they are unable to cure. They are unable to cure such disease. Okay. So this is the fact about the corona. So now I'm going to discuss next disease, that is the diphtheria. Diphtheria we will also discuss human health and disease chapter. So but here you can know about the little bit. So diphtheria, it is the inflammation and enlarging of mucus lining of the trachea, nasopharynx, larynx, bronchi due to the infection of coronabacterium diphtheria. So this coronabacterium diphtheria cause the diphtheria. And you know diphtheria, this is the bacteria. So there is the vaccine developed. So DPT, diphtheria pertussis tetani. So for the diphtheria pertussis whooping cough and tetani, clostridium tetani, so there is the triple vaccine they already developed. Okay, so diphtheria, there is the inflammation and inflammation as well as enlarging of the mucus lining trachea, nasopharynx, and other things will take place. Okay, another is the common cold. I had already told common cold, their vaccine also not developed. Okay, because this is their genetic material. Their genetic material also RNA molecules. A group of the rhinovirus. This is the rhinovirus. Rhinovirus means their genetic material is the RNA. Causes 40% common cold, and you have to see for common cold, because they really suffer from the common cold. 1 week later their life cycle finish, so they can free from the common cold. And there is the such sub number of the disease like influenza and this another disease. So influenza caused by the influenza virus, and tuberculosis, this is the mycobacterium tuberculosis, TB. This is the also there is the developed the vaccine, and the name of vaccine is the BCG, Bacillus calmette-guerin. They also developed. Another is the rhinitis. We have already discussed in the last class. Allergic rhinitis, that is the inflammation of the nasal mucosa. Okay, and pleurisy, that means inflammation of the pleurule. Pleur means that is the outer covering of the alveoli. Lungs you have to see in lungs they are covered with the pleural membrane. So that is called covering of the lung. So lung covering or lung is the made up of alveoli. Alveoli is the unit of lung. So it means here pleural membrane is the covering of alveoli. So inflammation takes place in the pleural membrane, that is called the pleurisy. Okay. Now we will see the some terminology related to the this respiration. So here you can say eupnea that is the normal breathing. Eupnea normal breathing. Hypopnea slow breathing means slow oxygen. Hyperpnea hyper rapid breathing. Apnea no breathing. Dyspnea difficult breathing. Tachypnea rapid shallow breathing. And orthopnea inability to breathe in horizontal position. If you are if you are lying in the horizontal position, so inability to breathe, that is called orthopnea. Asphyxia combination of the hypoxia and hypercapnia. Combination of the hypoxia, that is the hypoxia means deficiency of oxygen. Hypoxia deficiency of oxygen and deficiency of CO2. Hypercapnia uh, uh, not deficiency. Hypocapnia is the deficiency. Hypercapnia means excessive CO2. When the combination of hypoxia, deficiency of oxygen molecules, and much presents the CO2 molecules, this is called the asphyxia. And hypercapnia increase the CO2 content of the blood, and hypocapnia decrease the CO2 content of the blood. So this is the terminology related to the some respiratory, means they are the respiratory terminology. Okay, now we will see next. They have given the mountain sickness. Mountain sickness we know very well. If you will go into the altitude region, yeah, simply you can say if you are going to mountain region. Okay, so if you are going to mountain region, so that time if you will go mountain region, so atmospheric pressure will be low. And when the atmospheric pressure will be low, in case of your alveoli pressure got reduced. Okay, alveoli pressure got reduced, and when the alveoli pressure got reduced, the proper oxygen diffusion of oxygen will not take place. Blood will not get the proper oxygen, and when blood will not get the proper oxygen, what will happen? So hypoxia will condition come, and there is the, this is called mountain sickness. This is called the mountain sickness, or simply you can say altitude sickness. This is also known as the altitude sickness. It includes, what is the symptoms? Altitude sickness symptoms here you can see breathlessness, headache, dizziness, irritability, nausea, vomiting, mental fatigue, and bluish sting skin, bluish tongue, skin, nails, and lips. And this is called the mountain sickness or altitude sickness. Okay, so simply I had already told, if you are going on the altitude region or mountain region, so that time what will happen? Atmospheric pressure become low, and when the atmospheric pressure become low, so what will happen? So here this lowers the alveolar pressure, alveolar pressure of the oxygen, this lowers. Okay, and when alveolar pressure of oxygen lowers, the diffusion of gaseous exchange not takes place. Proper oxygen will not reach up to the blood, and when blood will not get the proper oxygen, so hypoxia condition will come, and our body they appear cyanosis. Cyanosis means blue, so our body appears as a little blue color. So they have been their symptoms: bluish tongue, skin, nails, lips. Okay, so this is the mountain sickness. Okay, so here they have been. So next that is the thank you. So thank you everyone, and everyone should share, subscribe my channel, and hit the bell icon for regular updates. So thank you again.